If you own a road bike, you're always looking for a faster upgrade to make your rides more fun, more quick without doing any sort of effort. And for an entry-level to mid-range road bike, they typically come with aluminum clincher wheels. Nothing wrong with these wheels, by the way. They're reliable, they're slightly heavy, but they basically last forever. But one thing that all cyclists look for is typically carbon wheels. They look great, they're used by professionals, and they look fast. If you look fast, you go fast. But the main drawback, however, is the cost. It can easily set you back over $2,000 to $3,000 for a pair of NVs or Zips, and that's a ridiculous investment if you ask myself. However, if you're browsing on eBay, browsing on Amazon, or AliExpress, a name that comes up time and time again is Superteam. Superteam is a Chinese brand, and they make a variety of carbon fiber wheels for both mountain bike and road bikes. They seem to be raced by pro-continental teams, they come in a variety of designs and colors, they've had relatively decent reviews across the board, and best of all, they cost under $400 USD. I took the plunge, I bought these wheels as you can see, I've mounted them to the bike, and I've ridden around 1,000 kilometers on them so far. For context, I'm not a pro rider by any means, this is purely a hobby. I weigh 130 pounds, and I'm not sponsored by Superteam in any way, so take that how you will, that's just the perspective that I'm coming from. By the way, if you're not subscribed already, please hit the subscribe button, it would greatly help me out, and if you enjoyed the video, I would really appreciate a like as well. Only 2% of you are subscribed at the moment, so I would really appreciate if that could go up just a little bit. And without further ado, let's find out if the Superteam is the answer to every road biker's upgrade list. Personally, I think buying any sort of product from a foreign market, such as China, requires a really strong buyer-to-seller experience, and I'm going to share with you how mine went. In this case, I purchased the wheels off of eBay from a seller called Princess Bike 123, and my sales representative's name was Candy. With an extremely picky aesthetic, I paid an extra $20 to ask them to get the Pantone color swab to match the decals on the Ridley bike. And personally, I think it came out pretty well. I originally sent them a Photoshop file of what I wanted. They asked the producers if that was possible, and indeed they said yes. You can also choose a unidirectional or a 3K carbon weave, or a glossy or matte finish. And as you can see, I went with the glossy and the 3K weave finish because I think that gives you a very premium aesthetic. They don't look shabby next to a pair of Zips. However, the buying experience wasn't perfect. They did make a mistake originally with the color. There were some miscommunications from the factory that Candy told me about, and that means that they had to spend another month or so to recolor the wheel, get it perfect before sending it over. However, I did really appreciate that they emailed me to make sure that the product was 100% to my specification before sending it over, and at this price point, I honestly couldn't ask for much more. The process took quite long. It took around 3 months to get this wheel shipped to my door. If you wanted to pick a standard color from their shelves of colors, which they have lots, it usually takes around 2 weeks, which I suspect that most of you would not be so picky and just pick one of the default color schemes because they look great as well. So overall, purchasing experience, I say an A-. The minus being the fact that they did make a mistake in the beginning, so it costed quite a big delay in terms of getting this to the door. However, I can't really ask for much more. It was still a very strong buyer-seller experience. Well done, Superteam. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to take any pictures of the original box that the wheels came in, but what I can tell you is that they packaged it extremely well. No scratches, no dings, and the wheels looked exactly as I wanted. Now here's what actually came inside the box. They had a matching pair of 50mm carbon wheels with rim tape already installed, a matching set of Superteam skewers, a few extra pairs of spokes, and a set of generic carbon brake pads, which I used for testing since it's what Superteam recommended for use of these wheels. And lastly, valve extenders in case you had a small diameter inner tube which you needed to match towards these deeper section wheels. I personally just went with 80mm tubes because that's just more functional overall. Now let's get some of the specifications out of the way first. The weight for the pair of the wheels is 1600 grams for the 50mm depth. Their rims are made from Toray 700C carbon fiber. They have a 23mm with an optional 25mm internal rim width, which is pretty good for our most modern tire sizes. It comes in a matte or glossy finishes and a unidirectional or 3K carbon weave, as we've mentioned before. There are 20 spoke holes in the front, 24 in the rear, and the hubs are a rebranded Powerway R13 front and rear. The free hub body fits a Shimano or SRAM 8, 9, 10, or 11 speed, so it pretty much works for any sort of modern group set. I think a very fair comparison to benchmark the Superteam wheels against are the wheels that came originally on the Ridley Fenix SL. What came with it were Mavic Ksyrium clinchers, and Mavic Ksyriums are a pretty respected climbing / all-round race wheel set, and it's actually what you would probably expect to come on any sort of mid-range type of road bike that you can buy today. Now, here's what the Superteams excel at, in my opinion. They're very good at going in a straight line and holding speeds of 20 kilometers an hour or higher. The deeper rim depth definitely gives it that more aerodynamic feeling. You can definitely hear the difference, and going back towards the Mavics, you can feel that difference. But keep in mind that this is only in low to moderate wind conditions, which we'll talk about later in the pitfalls of this wheel set. But overall, it does feel like an upgrade when you're going at those speeds, but only if you're going at those types of speeds. 20 kilometers an hour is a pretty average speed for a road bike type of ride, so I'd say it's pretty reasonable in terms of feeling some small, tangible benefits. Now, the Superteams are mounted with Bontrager R3 tires. They're not a race tire, not a training tire, a pretty neutral one and pretty good for testing. I'd say overall, you will feel the tangible benefits, but it is a pretty minor benefit. Now let's move on to where the complications of the wheel set comes in. So far, I've had two main annoying instances where I've had to take the wheels to the bike store. This was from the relatively generic Powerway R13 hubs making a loud shrieking noise due to having low lubrication from the factory itself. The first time the hub started making a noise was around 2 to 3 weeks into the purchase, and one ride they decided to start grinding, and it really wasn't a pleasant sound, which I do have a sound clip of here. This was fixed by taking it to a bike store and getting it re-greased, re-lubed, and the second time I did have the same issue again with the rear hub. And this was primarily caused because I did wash the wheels, and because it's such a thin lubrication, and because the hubs are not too well sealed, unfortunately they made that grinding noise again. They re-greased it, it's working again as normal, and they said that it might have been caused by an over-tightening of the quick release skewer in the back. So take that how you will. It might have been my error, I'm not sure. But just wanted to let you know that these hubs, although they're very loud, they sound pretty cool. They are a little bit fragile, which the mechanics did tell me. The construction of these hubs are kind of fragile, so expect some sort of maintenance to be needed in every few months of riding. Now, in terms of the actual performance of the wheels, I do feel that off the start, they're not exactly very zippy. They feel similar to the Mavic Ksyrium aluminum wheels that we're comparing it to, but on a climb, if you're above 15 to 20 kilometers an hour, there's a minor difference in terms of holding your speed, as we've mentioned before. Because of the weight of the wheels is 1600 grams, which is similar to the Mavics actually, there's not that big of a difference either. Now, here are some of the cons. Crosswind stability. Given that it's 50 millimeters and you have a bigger profile on the side, when wind comes and blows the wheel, you feel that in the handlebar. As a lighter rider myself, weighing around 130 pounds, the front starts twitching, and that's not a great feeling that you want to feel. So in any sort of moderate to high wind conditions, I do feel a little sketchy riding these wheels. Now, secondly, the braking is definitely taking a hit compared to a traditional aluminum clincher rim surface. These are carbon brake tracks, and they're not textured like some of the new types of wheels are. And especially with the generic brake pads, which I personally don't think are the best, it does take a longer discernible time to go from pressing the lever and actually getting a response from your wheels. So if you're going down a big mountain ride, be careful, because you're going to have to brake early to be safe. Now lastly, it also makes a little bit more of a louder noise when you're braking, and that's a byproduct of carbon wheels in general. This is not unique to the Superteams. I personally think that noise is actually kind of cool, but take that how you will. You're definitely going to suffer a little bit on the braking front because the surface is carbon. Now, I'm going to steal a little bit from the GCN video takeaways, where they tested deep section carbon wheels in a wind tunnel, as well as on a lightweight bike and on an aero bike, which I will link in the description below, which I think are excellent videos. But overall, they showed that yes, they do have a tangible benefit overall with a 1 to 2 kilometers per hour difference, but that's when you're riding at a pretty decent speed. If you're looking for the best bang for buck upgrade, this probably isn't it, but how can you resist carbon clinchers? They look awesome and they make you look pro. However, the drawbacks are there. As with any sort of decent carbon clincher wheel, you're going to be suffering from crosswind stability as well as braking performance, which isn't unique to Superteam, but kind of runs across the range of buying a carbon wheel in general. While it certainly has its downfalls, I think Superteam more than makes up for it in being an honest wheel in what it is. They never claim to be the fastest. They never claim to be the best wheel out there. They are a reasonably priced option with honestly reasonable specifications. They do make you a little faster. They do look awesome. They are UCI legal, which is very impressive at this price point. And think about it, you can crash 4 of these before breaking even on a similar pair of zips. A part of riding a bicycle is actually feeling like you're comfortable using the bike. When I'm putting such an expensive wheel set on the bike, I might not want to ride it as much, but these Superteams, they're great. They do the job. They make that carbon whooshing noise, which of course is a big part of owning a set of these wheels. And overall, would I recommend it? Yes. If you're looking for a budget set of carbon wheels, you want that pro look, you want to go a little bit faster on the flats, then Superteams are a great option. I would look into them for sure. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the insights that I brought here. This is an honest review of the wheels. There aren't a crazy upgrade above an aluminum clincher wheel, but overall, they get the job done. Whatever they stated, they achieved. Do let me know in the comments if you want to see any more comparisons later on. I hope you stay safe, happy riding, and have a great day, month, and year ahead. Take care, everyone.